Welcome to the news now. The High Court in Nairobi has dismissed an application by Naivasha Member of Parliament Jane Kihara seeking to go ahead and quash criminal charges filed against her. That is by the Directorate of Public Prosecutions, that is the DPP. The MP will now go on trial after Senior Principal Magistrate BAMBA decided that the Director of Public Prosecutions had acted legally when filing the charges.
Hakuna hatia yoyote ambayo ilitolewa na ile charge sheet ilipatikana ama ililetwa kotini, na kwa sababu yale mambo ambayo Mheshimiwa Jane Kihara alikuwa amesema serikali imeleta majambazi Naivasha wakuja waangamize biashara za Naivasha, na hao watu hawajulikani, na mtu mmoja alikufa na wengine wako hospitali. Kazi ya mbunge wa Gatanga, kazi yangu ni kurepresent na oversight watu ambao wanipatia kura.
She was talking on behalf of the people of Naivasha. She was also a witness, an eyewitness of seeing goons transported in a vehicle belonging to the government and particularly NYS. And therefore, by stating a fact, you cannot be declared a criminal. And we want to say that if every single thing said in this country is going to be criminal, I have told the courts that we are going to have so many cases that there will be not enough courts to try them, and we cannot open such gates.
I've not heard who I incited, because I remember when I said what I just heard now, I was talking to you people. It was a presser. So I don't know who I incited. So I thank my lawyers. Thank you very much, team. Aluta continua. Tutaendelea kwa sababu mimi nimekuwa pale. This shooting of Sunday, I was still in that convoy.
All right, and to a different story, Kenyatta Hospital murder prime suspect Kennedy Kalumbotole has been formally charged today with the murder of Gilbert Kinyua Muthoni, who was murdered in Ward 7C during the night of 6th and 7th February. Now, Kalumbotole was arraigned, that is, at the Kibera Law Courts before Lady Justice Kavedza Diana, and this coming less than 10 days after being charged with the murder of Edward Maingi Ndegwa, that is, on July the 17th, 2025. A patient admitted in Ward 7B Group C male on July 11th, 2025. Kalumbotole did not take plea, awaiting a mental assessment report ordered by prosecution. Now, Kalumbotole will now be remanded at the clinician section at the Nairobi Remand Prison. This matter shall be mentioned on the 22nd of September.
Yes. Nairobi Remand. At the clinician Nairobi Remand, the in charge is here. Ensure that he is placed on diabetic diet as well as medication.
All right, to a different story. The High Court in Eldoret has sentenced two police officers, Emmanuel Wafula and Godwin Wekesa Serengo, to 35 years in prison for the murder of Dennis Lusava that occurred in Bururu Police Post in Kakamega County. Lusava was tortured and killed while in police custody, and according to Justice Ruben Nyakundi, the accused hatched a plan to cover up the murder, that is by backdating the occurrence book to instigate that Lusava died after he was released by police.
There are also, as I said earlier, this was not a matter which the circumstances was able to bring it within the penumbra of self-defense and provocation, as it were. So, which meaning that this particular death was never within any of the exceptions, which is envisioned in the Constitution. Or in whole, I sentence each accused person to 35 years imprisonment, and they have 14 days right of appeal to the Court of Appeal. They can then test this decision and be able to see whether we exercised our discretion using the legal lens and using the materials and using the principles of the Constitution in arriving at this decision.
Nisiangalie Brumta. Okay, home at last. Stephen Munyaho, a Kenyan who spent 14 years in Saudi Arabia, prison facing death sentence for murder of Abdul Halim Mujahid in 2011, has returned to the country. Munyaho landed Tuesday early morning at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, JKIA. It was all jubilation, tears of joy and thanksgiving for the return of a son, a brother, a father, a friend and a Kenyan. Veteran journalist Dorothy Kweyu, her husband and their family could not hold their joy for the reunion with Stephen, also named Abdikadir, after converting to being a Muslim. The return of Munyaho was occasioned by a long and intense diplomatic engagement between the governments of Kenya and Saudi Arabia, led by President William Ruto and his Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi. The Kenyan government successfully intervened following his death sentence in 2024, where President Ruto contacted Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman Al Saud of Saudi Arabia to request a suspension of the execution and asked for a chance to facilitate diplomatic dialogue. Earlier in the year, the family received 129 million Kenya shillings from the government and a charity, the Muslim World League, that crowned the dialogue and later facilitated Munyaho's release, as he was able to perform Umrah minor pilgrimage after the deceased family accepted diya, blood money, as payment.
I'm glad to be back home in Kenya. My presence here today is nothing short of a miracle. And I want to begin by thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life. I want also to thank everyone who prayed for me, encouraged me, and contributed towards my freedom.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Allah, for this wonderful, wonderful gift of life. Thank you for each and everyone, and especially my media colleagues. Asanteni sana.
I wish to convey our very sincere gratitude to the government of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for accepting our efforts to be able to address this breach of the law and ultimately ensure the safe return of this good man to his family. On behalf of the government, I really want to thank especially the Cabinet Secretary and who is the Prime Cabinet Secretary of the Republic of Kenya for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, for his work and his commitment.
Former Cabinet Minister George Muhuhu has warned that scrapping Kenya's free primary education (FPE) program will be political suicide with severe consequences for millions of children and families. Speaking at Mangu Compuera Senior School in Juja, Muhuhu stressed that the free primary education introduced by former President Mwai Kibaki was a well-planned, sustainable legacy. He criticized the current leaders for mismanaging funds through overlapping bursary schemes, undermining the program's effectiveness. Muhuhu reminded that President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy William Ruto campaigned on enhancing education, making moves to abolish FPE, a betrayal of voters' trust. Parents at the meeting echoed concerns, warning that ending FPE amid economic hardship would then deepen suffering and as well provoke backlash in the 2027 election. The forum called the urgent government action to protect this vital policy.
Arrangement is coming at a point where when parents are struggling financially, so I would like to urge the government to rethink the idea of withdrawing the program.
Me as a parent, free education kama imeabolishiwa is going to affect me a lot because there's a part najua gava ilikuwa inatupea fee kidogo and then percent kidogo yetu sisi wazazi. Kama unapata fili kwa 30,000, unapata sisi wazazi tuko nalipa 10,000 and the government wanatukitaria hiyo 20,000. So kama mimi mkulima mdogo nimezoea kwenda kibarua nalipwa 300, how will I manage to raise 30,000 nilipie mtoto na nimezoea gava inatupea free education?
That dream of every government is to enable its citizen to get the best education possible. And therefore, education is the greatest equalizer in any society. The whole idea of having free education is so that the children of those who have and the children of those who have not are equal before the society and before the country, so that they get equal opportunity.
The Kenya High School football giants, Musingu High, have downed Moi Biruri 5-1 thanks to a brace from lethal striker Mervyn Ashiundo. Our sports reporter Nzuki Alan gives us all the latest from Kakamega County, where the National High School Games are being held.
Well, we're live from the Mumia Sports Complex in Kakamega, and just about right now, Musingu have shown their class once again, winning their first game 5-1 over Moi Boys Mururi. And now I'm just joined by the captain of the Musingu Boys, of course, Nan. Come, maybe you can join me here and just tell us what was your the captain of Musingu. Just tell me, what's your thoughts about the game? You know, 5-1, easy win in front of the home fans. How much of a factor will that play in your next games?
Firstly, I'm Anano Kumu, player Musingu High School. The game was much tight, but the dedication, the hard work, we have managed to take the 3 points home. We are preparing to take this championship this year, as where we left from it last year. We are very set for the champion. It's just the beginning.
Okay, so do you now feel positive about winning your title, your first title in 41 years in front of your home fans?
Yeah, it will be a pleasure for me. It will be a big thing in my name. Firstly, being the first captain after 41 years, breaking the drought of Musingu High School. 41 years is not that small. It's a very big gap, so it will be a pleasure for me.
Okay, tomorrow you play Garissa. Any thoughts about how you're gonna undertake the game?
We approach any game like a final. That's our take.
Okay, thank you so much. That, of course, is the captain, Adnan Okumu from Musingu High. Of course, they have won 5-1 against Moi Boys Mururi, who, by the way, are the Eastern champions. However, that's aside, because right now, Highway are taking on St. Joseph's Kitale at the Kakamega High School, which is also a mouth-watering encounter. Please make sure to keep it tuned right here at TV47 through our social media platforms, and even join us for subsequent bulletins at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m, whereby we'll tell you how it will unfold right here in Kakamega County. Back to you in studio.
Tell us to work on more so that we can present to you later on at 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. Make sure to keep it TV47. We close the news now. My name is Linda Alela.